Right.
Okay. What's up, everyone? Thanks for coming today. I want to make myself available to cover any topic that is on your mind right now, and then I have plenty of stuff that I can review as well. So Brooke was kind enough to suggest the open houses. So I want to talk for a minute about open houses. Hello. All right. Brooke got her first contract under, or first property under contract. Let's give her a round of applause here. Okay. If you're driving, I don't want you to feel strange. So you do whatever you want to do. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Brooke's been with the office like 2 weeks or something. She's already got something under contract. So fantastic. Okay. Let's talk about open houses for a second. I'm going to ask for some good participation, and then I will give you some real good ideas too. So let's start by talking about what is the point of an open house? Let's start with that. What do you guys think the point of an open house is?
To add to your database.
To add to your database, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. What else?
Find buyers.
Okay. What else?
Maybe to get people to talk about your house that maybe you're listing.
Yep. Also to appease the seller. We have to keep the seller happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
The statistics, by the way, say that it's a fraction of 1% of homes will sell because of an open house. So it is definitely not necessarily the most popular way or the most efficient way to sell the house, but that's not really the point from a buyer perspective or from a agent perspective. The idea is to make it an open event that the community can be a part of, okay, and get you an opportunity to meet people that could be nosy neighbors with a potential that they own a home in the street, which is totally fine, or in the community, or people that perhaps have not selected a real estate agent yet, right, or don't have a written commitment with one. So it is absolutely a lead generation activity. Good stuff. Okay, so with that said, there's different levels of an open house, if you will, right? Level 1 would be open house starts at 2 o'clock, and at 12 o'clock you go buy a couple balloons and you put out your one sign and you hope to God somebody shows up. That would be a first level open house, not maximizing the opportunity in my opinion. Okay, let's think of some additional ways that we can drive more traffic to the open house, let more people know, and secure more visitors or secure more people that we add to our database. Shout out some ideas for me.
Door knock the day before to let the neighbors know that there's an open house. Invite them to come in early to preview the house, and also invite them to try and maybe have an opportunity to pick their neighbor if they know someone that wants to move to the neighborhood.
All great ideas. I really like the idea of, like, let's say the open house is 2 to 4, do like 1 to 2 as like a neighbor only, right? So for example, you could say, you could put a little sign at the front of the community that says, hey, 1 to 2, you know, neighbor only open house. And people are like, oh, I don't want the neighbors coming in. Why not? They own a home. They most likely don't have a committed relationship with a realtor. This is your perfect opportunity, right? So don't be bashful about meeting anybody. Anyone that walks in the door, this is your moment to shine, okay? Now, you can knock doors. I love that idea, Donna. You can also do it before Sunday, right? First of all, you can host an open house on any day. It doesn't have to be Sunday. It doesn't have to be 12 to 2 or 2 to 4 or 1 to 3 or 3 to 5. It's totally up to you, which, by the way, means that you can set the time based on what works best for you, not necessarily anyone else, okay? You can also do them on Saturdays. You could do, one from 11 to 1 and then one from 2 to 5. You could do multiple open houses in a day. Nothing would stop you from that. Depending on the city that the open house is in, they have different policies for signs and when you can put up the signs, right? Whether it's the few days before or earlier in the week or whatever it may be. And quite frankly, I would rather pay a little fine for having a sign out or lose a sign and have more exposure. It's cost of doing business.
I think you can also post it to your social media in the event. Let's just say that people didn't know what North Fulton had to offer, and they were thinking about moving from one county to the next. They come to one of your open house. It kind of gives them a better perspective of what we have to offer, which may ultimately get you another sale or transaction in the area where I guess you're listing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It should go on social media. And you can do like hashtags for the particular city or town, neighborhood, these kind of things. You could ask some of your friends to share it that might live in the area, right? So they share it. You can make a little video ahead. So Brooke, for example, you've got this open house on Sunday. You can swing by there today and say, hey, this is, I forget what the address is, whatever the address is. It's an awesome 2-bed, 2-bath home. It's in a gated community with a pool and a gym. And, I'm going to be hosting just for neighbors starting at 1 and for anyone that is starting at 2. If you have any questions about the property between now and then, let me know right away. It's got stainless steel appliances and, crown molding, and I'm just really excited to show you the inside in a couple days. So stay tuned.
Do I need to get permission to do the neighbors for, because it's not my listing. I'm hosting it for that lady I told you.
Yeah.
So do I need to ask her if I can do the neighbor thing, or do I just kind of take it in my hands?
I would just maybe send her a message that says, my plan is to do this. She's not going to have any objection.
Okay.
Just let her know.
Okay.
She, by the way, she is one of the top agents in the office. She just moved from Compass. She's got about a $20 million team. So be on your best behavior, okay?
Meaning, well, of course I'm going to be on my best behavior, but.
Well, this is where opportunities happen, right?
Yes,
Opportunities come to
exactly.
people that ask for them and then that do good at whatever they were offered, right? So this is your time to, first of all, you want to ask her, hey, tell me a little bit about, do you have any standards, anything that you definitely want me to do or definitely don't want me to do? Is there anything unusual about the seller that I need to know about, right? You just want to get like their take on if they have any requirements for the open house.
Okay.
And the rest is on you, right? So I might go, walk around that community a little bit earlier in the day and, invite people to the open house, say, hey, swing by, we got a nice updated property here. It's listed for $279. Love for you to take a peek around if you'd like, right? When they come in, boom, that's when it's open season, okay? There's also a spot on FMLS where you can post that it's an open house, and I believe Georgia MLS as well. It's probably not going to be all that effective, but I'd put that out there anyway. I would make sure that, I believe that neighborhood is gated, isn't it? Brooke? So I believe that neighborhood is gated.
Right. Yes.
Okay, so you're going to need to have some form of like, how do I get these people in, right? So you're going to need to talk to the agent about like, is there a certain number that they could push on the number pad to get in that day? Is there somebody that can like they pick the name out of the call box and then all of a sudden I buzz them through? Like, how does that work? That way you can put a little, index card sign or something on the call box when they get there that says, guest for the open house, hit pound 2345, and then that'll buzz you through, or whatever the instructions are. because you don't want to be, you don't want people that want to come because they followed your signs and your balloons. Then they get to the gate and they can't figure out how to get in.
And they're lost. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You'll want to go stake it out because you don't know like how many turns, like where is the neighborhood first of all, and like where are the busiest intersections, like how many signs would I want, right? Can you go
Yeah.
borrow some signs? Like how many balloons should I buy? The more signs and more balloons that you can put out there, even if it's obnoxious, is going to be to your benefit.
Okay.
Okay.
And then she said she doesn't really do any bake things, but I'm allowed to if I want to. Do you suggest I put any snacks like cookies? I know Melba and Ignite said when you bake cookies, it makes the house smell amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. Now we do have, social distancing that we have to follow.
That's what I was.
So this is a little tricky right now. So like what you may want to do is say something to the effect of like, put like a sign on the door and say, please knock on the door. And if I don't come down in like 30 seconds, then I'm with a client right now and a visitor right now, and I will come get you as soon as the visitor is done so that we can practice safe social distancing and only letting a certain number of people in the house at once. So you're gonna have to do a little bit extra because of COVID to control who comes in. Like you don't want 6 different groups coming in the home at once.
Well, I think that works to the best of my benefit because then I'm not overwhelmed with talking to so many people. I get to focus on, one couple or one person at a time.
Right. So you might want to say just like, knock on the door, and if I don't arrive within 30 seconds, then I will be with you as soon as this current visitor has completed their tour.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your patience. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Next thing, we want to make sure that. By the way, that's a very good open house. Okay. Because it shows you a lot of flexibility. Number one, it's a cute house, right? It's got great pictures. The second thing is it's in a good price range, right? It's near a lot of areas, so hopefully you'll get some good traffic. And it's also not so high priced. Like for example, let's say it was an $800,000 listing. There's hardly any people out there just roaming around without a realtor at $800,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. But at $300,000, that wouldn't be uncommon. So you don't want to just like sink your claws into them the second they walk in the door and say, hey, do you have a realtor sign this? Right. Just welcome them in. I'd make sure that you have gloves and a mask. I'd also make sure that you have a couple of extra masks and extra gloves. Right. I'd ask them to leave their shoes outside. You want to make sure that you are following all the safety precautions. So I'd make sure you have a little hand pump with hand sanitizer. You want them to feel safe. Okay.
Okay.
So I would just say, introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Brooke. Thanks so much for coming today. I'd ask them about their day, full of smiles. And I would not follow them around in the home. I would figure out like a little short thing that I would say, something to the effect of,
let me know if you have any questions.
Right. Just tell them a little bit about the home. I don't know if you saw the fitness area or the pool, but it's a gated community with a fitness area and a pool. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath home. The owner has recently updated the appliances and the countertops. Just want to let you know that the TV on the wall is going to be staying. And if you have any questions about anything, just let me know, and I'll be here available to answer them for you. So enjoy the tour, right? And then they might tour around the home. I would not be right on their back, but I'd kind of be, I'd be noticeably available. And then as the tour is wrapping up, you maybe get them into the family room or the kitchen area, and you say, hey, what did you like best? Right? So they say, oh, the bathroom is really nice. I really like the paint color in there, or the flooring in there, or whatever. Say, great. So have you been looking at a lot of property today? right? You're asking them open-ended questions, right? And then eventually you might get to the point where you say something to the effect of, you know, I would love an opportunity to help you in any way. Are you currently working with a real estate agent, right? Now, they may say yes, or they may say no. If they say yes, say, well, great, just write down their contact information here for me so that I can call and introduce myself and just make sure that they know that if you have any questions, I'd be happy to reach out to your agent directly, right?
Okay.
Then if they don't have an agent, or they basically can't write down the person's information because they're lying to you, then you would say something to the effect of, you know, well, I have a fantastic mobile app that it's completely free to use. It's actually a relatively new app, and it's got some of the best features of both Zillow and Redfin, and you know, a lot of people are really enjoying working with it. Could I text that to you right now? Right? What's the best contact number for you? And I'll text it to you. You can download it. Right? You want to try to give them something of value as soon as humanly possible.
Okay.
And then you might say something to the effect of, don't drill them about whether they're pre-approved and all that kind of stuff right now. You're just courting them, just building the relationship, right? And say, you know, also one thing that you know, I'm making calls to buyers and sellers all day. And so if I happen to come across a property that's similar to this, you know, that hasn't hit the market yet, would you like me to reach out to you directly and tell you about that? What would be better?
That's a good one.
Email, text, right? Okay, email, I'll need your email address too, right? So you want them to know that if they work with you, they're going to get something that they're not going to get if they're working with somebody else. Make sense?
Now, do you suggest a sign-up sheet? I know I've seen that a lot, but I just
Yeah,
didn't
I
know
would
with
suggest
everything.
a sign-up sheet. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it have an email place too and everything?
Yeah, name, email, cell phone number, mailing address.
Okay.
That kind of thing. I'd also, before I ask that question about that would lead them to the app, I would just ask them, hey, you know, tell me a little bit about what you're looking for in a house. Does this fit your needs? Does this fit your goals? Right?
I have
And
a
they would say,
question.
yeah, we're looking, one sec, we're looking for a 3-bedroom home. Oh, awesome. You know, if you'd like, I can share with you some 3-bedroom homes nearby. Or you might say, well, the HOA fees here are $360. And they say, ooh, that's a lot more than I was hoping for. Say, well, if you sat down with the lender and you kind of know what the limits for those fees would be, I'd be more than happy to do a quick search for you and send you some other options that have fees that are less. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yes.
So to
Right.
piggyback off of what Brooke said when she was asking about the sign-up sheets, and you know, it's a good idea to have one. Do you do kind of like a separate one for everyone, so that way there's no, everyone's information isn't shared, or like what would be the best way to do that?
No, I would in fact do it the opposite, which is everyone's going to sign in on the same sheet.
Okay.
And I might even put a couple fake names on there first. So they don't.
Fake. So it makes it
So it looks like people are, there's a
makes
lot
it
of
look like
activity.
you have people.
You know, not Donald Duck or something. But I want them to know that that things are happening here. Does that make sense? You guys got that?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Hang on one second. I'm having an issue with my charger. I want to make sure. Okay, cool. The video is not going to be that good for a couple minutes, but hopefully you guys can hang. All right, what questions do we have so far?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about safety a little bit, Bill?
Absolutely. This is there are certainly realtors that don't want to do open houses for safety reasons. I know this is probably not what you're going to want to hear, but I wouldn't, I'm not saying you should bring a gun or something, but I'd probably bring mace, right? I would not be wearing my highest heels, right? I think somebody should know where you are at all times. I think that you should have somebody that you could call or text and let them know that something's funny, something's fishy. Gosh, if I was, I mean, nobody's ever come into an open house of mine and hit on me, but I don't know if I'd do open houses alone if I was a woman, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm a little worried being
You could
young.
also pair up with someone. You know,
Yeah.
you could invite, because I did that with Rebecca Zavacki. We paired up a couple times to do open houses. So,
Right.
and then you just work out how you either split the leads or she keeps all the leads, however you decide to do it. I know I did it for the experience rather than to get leads. So
Yeah, I would, Brooke, if I was you, I would have somebody at open houses with me. It's just,
Okay.
it's just a safety precaution, right? Realtors are
Yeah.
they're targeted. You know, people want to hang out with pretty people. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't want to take any chances.
Yeah.
and also I know on my cell phone I have an Android and I'm with Sprint. Someone else shared this with me. I think it was Myra Albritton, that there's like an emergency feature on your phone where you can like hit the button on the side 3 times really fast and it sends an alert to whoever you have as your emergency contact, and it actually sends them a picture of you and just like a message that says I'm in distress or I need help or something like that. I'm not sure how to get to it. I think on my phone it's just pressing that side button 3 times, but that's something you might look into too.
Yeah, you could Google that to see if there's an app that would do that for you. I recommend that you have that anyway. I would actually, if I was you, Brooke, I'd post in the group, hey, who wants to do this open house with me on Sunday?
Okay.
And be a little less concerned with like who gets the leads and all this kind of stuff, and more concerned with just making sure that you're not, you know, you're going to be in a neighborhood you're not familiar with. You're going to be otherwise you'd be in a neighborhood you're not familiar with at your first open house alone. It's just increasing risk unnecessarily.
And I think
Brooke.
it's also helpful because you'll have someone outside with those people who are waiting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I
That
don't
is true.
mind doing it. Like, I know I don't know you. Hi. But if you need somebody ever, like, I don't mind doing open houses. Like, I'm ready for it. So if you want somebody to come with you, I'm available Sunday.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. If you can leave which number yours is, just so I can save it.
Absolutely.
Love it. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Okay. What other questions do you have about open houses? Anything? Guys, if it was me, I'd be doing open houses all the time. I'd be doing open houses on Saturday, Sunday, Thursday.
I remember that,
you can do a
phone
night
call with the lady. I can't remember her name that came in and talked to us last week, saying how she made most of her money from open houses.
Yep. Absolutely.
So can you talk a little bit, Bill, about reaching out to agents with listings to ask if you can just do an open house on their listing? Does that have to is that just Keller Williams agents, or is that for any listing in your area? How does that work?
You are technically allowed to advertise anybody's listing, regardless of brokerages, with their permission. However, I would probably stick to Keller Williams people. So you could go on the Georgia Legacy Group or the Roswell page and basically say, you know, I'm available to host open houses. And then you're probably going to find that there's a handful of people that would be open to that, handful of either agents or teams. And I would become their best friends. Okay, we've got a number of examples of agents that were relatively new to the business that started hosting open houses, started, putting out signs, started, shooting videos and all these kind of things for teams, and ultimately got hired. Okay, hang on, guys, just 1 second for me, okay? Okay, sorry about that, guys. Okay, is that clear? Any other thoughts or questions on that topic? Oh, one more thing is you guys can do open houses, evening open houses, right? You could do an open house from 5 to 7 on a Tuesday when people are coming in from being at work or whatever. Nothing, there's no rules against that. Okay. Okay. One of the other things that I would recommend is creating a standard for your business around open houses. So for example, what does, Donna Patrick's standard for open houses that I do 4 open houses a month, right? I do 1 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and 1 on Tuesday or whatever. And then you determine what days and what times those are going to be. And then as those days approach, you go and identify the property that you're going to host open. And I would give yourself, I know this is a particular circumstance, Brooke, but ideally you would have more than a day or 2 to get all this stuff planned out, right? Because you could even do a Facebook ad for it or through command, or you can, hey, 1 second.
So the good thing is she said she is covered. Okay.
Okay. Okay, did I miss a comment?
Yeah, the good thing is she's let me know that she's taking care of all the advertising and everything. I mean, I'm still gonna probably drive through and, ask the neighbors like you said, but she said she's posted and, she sent out a thing to all of her agents that have people who are looking at property in that price range, and so that's good.
So keep in mind that all of quote unquote her advertisements, they may be drawing traffic to the property, which is good, but they also may be, people
with
that,
agents.
either that or they may be her people, right? So
True.
nothing would stop you from taking your own action so you can even push the gas even harder. Does that make sense?
What should an ad look like? Just put a couple pictures of the house, and I mean, is there a website I can create something, a little flyer?
Yeah, through command, you absolutely could. You can watch some videos. Sam's got some videos on
The design.
Designs is not, you could create the ad definitely in Designs and then bring it up through the campaign feature. There's a lot of videos on Sam's command page about that. And while I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna give you guys a little list right now of some people and some groups I want you to be a part of on Facebook with respect to command. Okay, everyone ready to write? All right, everyone got a pen and paper?
Yes, sir.
Okay, following groups.
Can someone send a picture? I'm driving of what they write down.
I can.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Number 1, these are some Facebook groups, okay? One is called KW Command. All you got to do is search for it and ask to join, okay? KW Command. There's another one called Command Your Conversion. Command Your Conversion. Okay. There are a couple of gentlemen that and there's another group called, I think it's called 66 Day Challenge, and search for a guy's name. His name is Marty Miller, M-A-R-T-Y Miller, Marty Miller. he's been doing these things on Facebook, and he has this group that's called the 66-Day Challenge to Command, and they're on version like 3.0 right now. And what it is basically all of the it's like a 5 to 10 minute video every day on a new command skill. So something you can learn within command within 5 or 10 minutes. So this is a great way to kind of bite off like a little tiny chunk of command every day. Okay, and there's a lot of videos in those pages on command ads and adding contacts and setting up smart plans and all that kind of stuff. Okay, there's two other gentlemen that are both, I think, regional tech directors throughout KW. One is named Nick Baldwin, B-A-L-D-W-I-N, and the other guy's name is Jay, J-A-Y, Cermak, C-E-R-M-A-C-K, Cermak. J, J-A-Y, and then Cermak, C-E-R-M-A-C-K. They both are very, very active around KW Command. They have got videos and people are asking questions and you're getting responses. So what I want you to do is the more you see it and the more you see different things that Command will do, you'll be able to identify where efficiencies that you can create in your business are, and you'll just be more comfortable with the system. Okay. But remember, what I want to avoid is you guys becoming experts in a technology system for a real estate company that you can no longer be able to afford to be at. Okay. So don't forget that the chief priority is not become a command expert and have no clients. It's go have a bunch of clients, and then either you manage command in your pajamas at night or you pay somebody else to do it. Okay. All right.
Hey, Bill, I saw you mention Nick Baldwin before.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's relevant, but you'd also mentioned Lab Coat Agents as a group.
Lab Coat Agents is another really good one. Nick is actually he's one of the co-founders and owners of that.
Okay.
Lab Coat Agents. Lab Coat Agents is not unique to KW, or not KW specific. It's all realtors, but there's something like 80,000 real estate agents in that group, maybe more.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good one. It's not specific for Command or KW, but that's another really good website, or not website, I'm sorry, Facebook group. Okay. All right. For those that don't know, we have kind of our icon PC agent on the call, Jenny Vereen. Okay. Jenny and I probably sometime next week are going to be doing like a little interview and give her an opportunity to talk about kind of how her business and her mindset has evolved over the last couple of weeks. But I just want to give her a quick shout out right now. She has secured a $4.9 million listing. So if anyone is in the market for 221 acres near Locust Grove, just send over your proof of funds to Jenny and she'll be happy to help you. Okay.
I believe you can, because I never in a million years would have thought ever that I would be.
Oh, all right. The person that's going to rescue me is here. What is this for?
Where is your thing?
On my what?
What's going dead?
That, and it's on the thing. That's the wrong charger.
Oh.
It's okay. I need a, hang on guys. I don't even have the cord with me. Hey, the other problem is I can't figure out how to get my mouse to work. It's not working for some reason. Is the iPad charger?
Yeah.
Is it dead?
Yeah, it's completely dead. It's
Okay.
gonna take like 20 minutes.
Okay, so I got 2%. I seem to be going okay. What?
Yeah, use your computer.
No, because the mouse isn't working. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So Jenny, I just want to give you the floor for just a second. Can you just share with this crew just like what you've been up to for the past couple weeks and how your mindset has changed? And I'm just going to give you a quick little practice run to encourage or to inspire some of our colleagues today on, you know, you've been in the business a long time and you've been quite successful. And yet it sounds like you've had some big turning points in the last couple of weeks. I just want you to share those.
That's a good way to say it. Turning points. I got in the business about, 1997 originally. And then I had a bunch of children and dogs. And so I stopped selling real estate for a few years. And I got back in it in 2010 at Keller Williams. I did all the training that everybody said, and I would not do bold, I was not bold, and I didn't want to be bold. I was scared to death of it because I was scared they were going to make me cold call. And since I sound like I crawled out from under a rock, I didn't want to call people and talk to them. So I was very hesitant about the scripts. Like, I did my own thing. I didn't listen. I didn't follow a script, and I would just ramble like I am now. And so over the past month, I've started working with Kathy, Ray, Pam, and Bill, especially on my scripts. And I've gotten really a lot better at them. And so that's helped. And that's what helped me with that listing presentation. And that's what helps me with my phone calls and everything.
Awesome. Awesome. Talk about your mindset a little bit.
I don't know how I've changed. I think you brainwashed me. Kidding. I just decided I wanted to get serious about this. I mean, I tailored the scripts to sound like me. And I think one of the turning points was when you said, and I just keep talking about scripts, but they're so important, because I was saying the other day that I walked in UPS and they said to me, "So Jenny, how's real estate?" And I was like, you know, I didn't know what to say. So I said, I don't want that to happen again. And
right.
So, you know, and then Bill, I think you told me, you said, if you don't learn the correct script, you're just going to say the same, basically stupid script. I mean, you didn't say that to me, but you said, like, in general, you're going to have a script. So you might as well have a good script.
Right.
You know, that was when that was a turning point.
Right. Because when you answer that question, you're gonna say the same thing over. Oh, it's good, I'm having fun, or oh, it's slow. Don't ever say that, by the way. Right? You need the most intelligent script you can have. Oh, you're the best.
I've still got to work on when somebody says, "How's the market?"
Oh,
you know, like that script, I've got to perfect that so that I feel confident about. Say, why are you thinking of selling?
I just want to give a shout out to Lucy. It's still not working for some reason. Who's saving me with a mouse. I'm sorry, keep going.
That's it.
I'm having multiple computer issues right now, but we are plowing ahead.
Bill, is there, and I know the acronym, I cannot remember what the full name, MMO. I don't, yes. I need to understand how to actually utilize that, because I know that it's going to be so important, you know, for us to know what's going on in the industry.
Yep.
Is there a command? Is there a something for that I can look at?
Yes. So let's back up and talk about what MMO is real fast. So if you go onto the YouTube channel, there are several videos on Chartmasters, and I believe there's one specifically on the MMO. So command is KWRI, Keller Williams International. Chartmasters is essentially a private company in Metro Atlanta that crunches this FMLS data for Keller Williams only. And as a matter of fact, not every Keller Williams office has it. So we pay for a subscription at Roswell. Most of the KW offices do, but not every one of them does. Okay, so this is specific to Keller Williams, number one. And not all offices have it. They also have an in-town report and a couple of the outlying county specific reports. And they also have a condo and townhome report. So everything is available on the intranet, right? So you go to mykw.kw.com, about halfway in the middle of the page, there's a link that says My Intranet. And then you go to like documents, I think it's called documents or resources or something like that. I explained that in one of the videos. And that's where you can find the Chartmasters reports. There's a big report that comes out every quarter The last one that came out was fourth quarter of 2019. And basically since COVID started, he started doing it essentially weekly. And this is a guy named Chuck Carr. Chuck Carr is available, by the way, if you ever want to create a very custom report for some reason, you could pay him to do that just for you. MMO is a monthly report, and now he started to do what is essentially MMOs every week. And Lucy's been sending those out every single week. Now, if for some reason my phone dies, I will come right back to you on a different computer here momentarily, okay? The next thing.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm not a big numbers person. Like it's overwhelming to me, Ebony, like what you were saying about that MMO, like being able to dissect it.
Yep.
What about using the absorption report, Bill, in the FMLS?
So there is, well, first of all, there is absorption reports in MMO too.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't even know
FMLS,
what an absorption report is. I just thought it sounded fancy. I like what it said, like the numbers. I could understand.
you just want to say absorption rate again?
Well, I mean, it sounds like that's what it's called in FMLS. I don't know what that means.
All right, I'm going to talk
It has
about
the
that
numbers
in
that
one
I
second
can
too.
understand them, and I feel like my clients can quickly glance and understand.
Beautiful. I'm going to talk about absorption rate in 1 second. Okay. So Chartmaster's MMO. First of all, there is, if you go back and look on Georgia Legacy Group, you should all be members of the Facebook group Roswell Rocks. That's Roswell's page. And Georgia Legacy Group is 3 offices that Andy Peters is the operating partner of. Chattahoochee North, which is off of 141 at the Forum, and the Alpharetta office, which is off of Windward Parkway by the highway, plus us. Okay, if you go on GLG's page, Georgia Legacy Group's page, Andy and Leslie did a Zoom talking about the MMO like probably a week or 2 ago. Okay. So you can go back and watch how they interpret the MMO, and then you can go back and cross-reference the MMO that Lucy sent and kind of look at them side by side to learn how to explain it. Okay. Plus, I've got some videos as well where I've kind of explained both of those charts. All right, let's talk about absorption rate for a second. Okay. Absorption rate is essentially the number of properties that, or how long, or let me rephrase that. What is the current month supply, number of months of supply of properties? So you would take an area that you would define, let's say it's the city of Roswell or area 13 or 14 on FMLS, and you wanted to say something to the effect of, all right, I think I would be ready if I lose you here. You wanted to say there are 40 homes that are active on the market, and there are 100 homes that have sold in the last 12 months. So what we know is that we can calculate how many homes are selling per month, right? Then we know how many homes are active right now. So then we can tell if nothing were to change, right? Meaning there was no new listings, then how long would it take to sell all the current inventory? Does everyone follow that? So let me give you a different example. If, for example, we say, if that was the case, what do we say? There's 10 homes selling per month, and there's 40 properties available. Then if no new listings come onto the market, then it's going to take 4 months to sell out of the current inventory. So that's 4 months of supply of properties. Okay. Statistically speaking, if it is between 0 and about 5 months, it's considered a pretty strong seller's market, which means that there's more more buyers in the marketplace than sellers, right? So if you were to take a All right, perfect timing. we're back. Unfortunately, I think this recording may be split into two sections, okay? If there are less than 5 months of supply, it's considered a strong seller's market, okay? Meaning that the seller is most likely going to appear to have the advantage, okay? Buyers aren't going to come in there and, you know, clobber the seller in negotiations.
Can you say the first part of that one more time so I can write it down?
Yeah, so you're going to identify how many months of supply there are, okay? And then what you're going to do, you're going to identify how many months of supply there are, and then you're going to say, well, is it less than 5? If it's less than 5, then you have a seller's market. If it's more than 7, you have a buyer's market. And if it's between 5 and 7, generally speaking, you have a transitional market, which means it's most likely transitioning from, transitioning from a buyer's market to a seller's market, or, no, same one, thank you. Transitioning from a buyer's market to a seller's market, or transitioning from a seller's market to a buyer's market. And it generally doesn't stay in that transitional time very long, okay? So, I'm gonna pull something up for you guys real fast. Let's see. All right, hang on just a second. I'm not going to be able to pull off explaining like a bunch of stuff about Chartmasters right this second, but if you go back, you can watch the videos that are on YouTube. What you're going to find, and then at the end, there's a really nice summary page of what the trends are in the marketplace. Okay. Now, Atlanta right now is in an interesting market, because if you're looking about between 4 and 500,000 and down, you're pretty much at a seller's market. And then beyond 500,000 in almost every area in town, you're pretty much in a buyer's market. So it's very uncommon that you could sell in a seller's market and then turn around and buy in a buyer's market in the same general vicinity, right? Most of the time you're selling in a seller's market and then turning around and buying in that same seller's market. And you're doing so, by the way, don't get in the habit of coaching your people to only buy in buyer's markets and sell in sellers markets. It's hard to track that. Okay, they need to buy because their family has a motivation to buy, right? And yes, you may not buy every time in a buyer's market. What you do is you buy strategically and you finance strategically, and then you make the most of the current situation. Okay. However, if you're selling a home, let's say in that like 350, 400 neighborhood, and you're going to move up to a $700,000 home or a 550 or 650 home, you could probably take advantage of selling in a seller's market where you're going to feel like you're getting the best terms, and then turn around and do the same thing in the buyer's market. Because in the buyer's market, there's generally a higher number of months of supply. There's less buyers, obviously, that can afford that type of property. And there's more buyers that can afford the home you're trying to sell. Okay. Does that make sense? So sometimes, like, let's say you're helping a $200,000 buyer right now, they're not going to feel like they're getting their way in negotiation. They're going to feel like they're getting their ass kicked, to be honest. That's not the point. The point is, are they protected? And are they buying with it, which they're going to be, right, with a due diligence period and appraisal contingency and financing contingency? Are they protected? Are they informed, right? Have they studied with the help of their agent what are the stats nearby, right? What are the actives available? What are the pendings? What do they sell at? What are the sales? Where do they sell at? How does this home compare? I'm not suggesting you go spend $350 for a $300,000 house, but if you find the perfect place and all data supports a price of 300, you may have to pay 300, right? You may not get a quote unquote deal. Sometimes getting a deal is getting the home you want at a fair price, right? And oftentimes when you're dealing with a buyer, you got to help your buyer understand what it's like to be a seller. And when you're dealing with a seller, you need to help your seller understand what it's like being a buyer. So for example, let's say I have a seller where all the data would support this home would sell around 350 and they get an offer for 320. There's no freaking reason they should sell their home for 320. No data supports that. So why should they sell to Zillow for 320? Because they knowingly, with your help potentially, decide that that package is more appealing than what they could get on the open market. I'm not suggesting it is, but if they're going to be, they need to be educated before they can make an educated decision. Okay. And there may be somebody that needs to sell the house this week for some crazy reason, and they're willing to lay a bunch of money on the table. But they should do that because they're educated and they understand the pros and the cons of that choice, right? Now, if somebody is, you know, like I'll give you an example. I just sold a townhome last month. The most recent, actually the three most recent sales, one was 480 and the other two were 475. Okay. The last one was 480. It was probably the closest to what I had. Okay. And that was the comps from 6 months ago. Okay. I had my home on the market for 480 and not a damn thing was happening. And I had it on the market for 475, not a damn thing was happening. Okay. And I had to lower my price to 460 and that didn't help. So then I painted it, I retook the pictures and I put it back on the market at 470 and I ended up selling it for 463. Did I give the guy a good deal? I don't really know. I mean, he got a better buy than the last guy that bought in there. But the point is that there's 8 billion people in the world and no one was willing to give me 464 for it. So I guess that's the best guy I had to work with, right? So I could sit around and argue all day long that the last guy sold it for 480, but the whole world could have bought mine for 470 and they didn't want to. So is it worth 470? Apparently not. So I got to sell the damn thing for what it's worth, right? It's worth what a buyer was willing to pay for it. Simple. And that buyer was willing to pay more than any other human on the face of the earth. Make sense? So we sold it to him, right? Did I get a good deal? Doesn't make a difference. I had something, I owned something I didn't want anymore. That's the person that was willing to pay me the most for it. Let's move on with life, right? It doesn't, at some point, it doesn't really matter what the data says. This guy is willing to pay more than anyone else. It's been on the market a freaking really long time, so we've certainly tested that. And that was as good as it was going to get. Does that make sense? So the data is only going to get you so far. I wasn't going to sell the home for 430, and I'd be dreaming if I thought I was going to sell it for 500. So there's a bit of a range, right? 460, 463, 466. What difference does it make? I'm just trying to make a deal happen. Does it make sense? So don't get your people too hung up on, well, I had $726 worth of knobs, so that makes my home $727 more expensive. No, 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 no. Here's what's available for you. Pick your favorite, then let's go to work and secure the best terms. Okay. And meanwhile, we're going to protect you through a contingency periods and inspection opportunities. We're going to make sure you're working with a great lender. We're going to make sure you're working with a great attorney, and everything's going to fall into place. And I'm going to be watching over everything. Okay. Does that make sense? The statistics and the MMOs and all that, that's to kind of get them into the right mindset, right? So somebody buying a $200,000 home right now, they need to be told very bluntly,
you're in an incredibly strong seller's market. You are competing with investors left and right, most of which have cash. And according to the last round of data, approximately 35% of homes are selling at list price or above list price. If we identify the home that is the perfect fit for you and you have to pay list price or more to secure it, how are you going to feel about that? And they will tell you if they're crazy or not. They will say, well, that sounds reasonable, Bill. You got all the data. It sounds like you know what you're doing. Just tell me where to sign. Beautiful. Or they'll say, well, I want to pay 80% of list price. Say, if I show you the data and the data supports 80% of list price, I will gladly write it up for you. But I want you to understand that is almost certainly not going to happen, right? So my job is not to say, oh, well, they want this, so you have to pay this. My role is to help you understand the marketplace. And we're going to prove that that price is right or wrong. And then we're going to intentionally design a contract that both protects you and secures the best price and terms for you. Now, when you say it like that, with that type of pace and that type of care and that type of empathy and that type of directness, people believe you, right? You just say 4 + 4 is 10 with like that, and they'll be like, well, damn, I thought it was 8, but maybe it is 10. See what I'm saying? So then the question becomes is, how confident are you? Can you look at these reports that are being sent out and say, hey, the reason why sales are down this week is because we went under quarantine 4.5 weeks ago. So let me show you here and here and here. And they're like, whoa, you're smart. What do you think we should do here? Say, sign the papers. That's what we should do. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So the short-winded answer for what I gave you as a long-winded response is check the YouTube channel, look at the reports that Lucy is sending out each day, or each week, I'm sorry. Review the weekly tracking report and the summary page, and then go back and look at the graphs and see if you can make sense of it. If you watch the videos, watch Andy and Leslie's presentation on Georgia Legacy Group, feel free to ask a question within our group. I'm more than happy to, I like nerding out on that stuff. So I'm ready to handle those discussions, okay?
Okay.
Make sense?
Yes.
All right. For all those that are in bold, it is time for bold. Enjoy your last day. Finish the month strong. Please finish reporting your numbers if you have not. That includes your goals for this week and your actuals for any week previous. This recording will be in probably 2 sections online, so take a peek at that. I will be out tomorrow. Kathy Ray is going to be running the 8:30 session, and Robin Lemon is going to be doing a really cool session for you guys at 11. And if you are interested in an orientation to the PC program, my intention is to do that today in this room between 4 and 5. Okay? Beautiful.
Thank you.
You'll have a great day.
Thanks, Bill. Enjoy your day off.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.